Welcome to Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights, a podcast by coaches for coaches. Our guests share their hard-won wisdom to help you grow your coaching business and create a life of success. So get ready to unlock the blueprints to your success. Welcome, everyone, to our newest episode. Thanks for joining me today. And I'm excited to introduce you to Kae Wagner from North Star Marketing. So I'm thrilled that you're here with us today, Kae. I can't wait to hear more about what you do.
Oh, thank you, Jeanne. I'm so happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about you and North Star Marketing and kind of how you ended up running a business like North Star Marketing.
Yes, so that's an interesting story, and thank you so much for having me. What you do on your podcast for coaches, I know a lot of people appreciate it so much. So, North Star Marketing, how did we get started? I started North Star Marketing a long time ago because I had come out of television and then moved into marketing and advertising. And what I saw happening at that time was that people were focused on advertising and would go into tactical execution without strategy. And so marketing is where we start with strategies. And so that's really been the focus for me in whatever I've done, in the business. Now, North Star Marketing, over time, we've transformed as all businesses have had to, right? And as you know, in the marketing industry, marketing and advertising has gone through a huge transformation. There have been so many things that have happened, most of which are good, and some of which are little bunny trails. And then we come back from those. We could probably name a few of them over the years for sure, Jeanne. In my work, I moved from really running an agency into becoming an executive coach and working with CEOs, what I call those in the C-suite, working with them on leadership skills and on working on that space between their ears, connecting that to their heart and really working on transforming their experience of leadership into one that equalized the work of the business of the business with the people. So I'm a firm believer that what really makes businesses successful are the people that work in them. Now, products, of course, are very important, but it's really the people behind the products. And so that was a lot of the work that I did with executive, C-suite people. During that time, I was also writing, and I've been a writer all my life. And so the first two books that I wrote were geared towards CEOs. The first one was The Power Principles of Marketing, and the second one was The CEO's Little Black Book on Branding. Those two books catapulted me onto national stages. And so I was going around the country speaking to CEO groups. And what would happen after those meetings with CEOs, I would get a phone call about 3 weeks to a month later, and their executive vice presidents would call and say, "My CEO saw you speak about branding. My CEO saw you speak about marketing. And he said that we should work with you." So, wow, okay, great. We don't even have to go through the gauntlet, right? And as a result of that, we were able to do $1 million programs with large companies and in the marketing and branding area. Out of that, I began to work very closely with CEOs that we were working with. And that kind of morphed into the whole executive coaching time of my life within the past 2 years. So then I went on to write 5 business books. So I had 5 business books 2 years ago, and I was still working with executives at that time too. But 2 years ago, I decided to write fiction. And so big change, I know. So in 2024, I wrote and published a 4-book series called the Frankie Girl series. And the first book is Saturday Night at the Trailer Park. And it is a 4-part series about Frankie Girl, who goes from her trailer park identity to becoming an empowered, strong young woman. And she does it by learning about forgiveness and redemption. And so in that transition from being a nonfiction author to being a fiction author, I began to bump into a lot of authors who were struggling. and who needed help with promotion and with book sales. Now, there's this thing called falling off the Amazon cliff. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No, I've actually not heard that before.
So, falling off the Amazon cliff is after you've launched a book, and Amazon will promote your book for 60 days as a new release. And then after 60 days, you're on your own. So the algorithm works really well for you, works hard on your behalf while you're in a new release. And then a lot of people were like, oh, what happened? I just fell off the cliff. My book sales just went like down to 0, down to 10, down to 5, whatever. And so that's a really, really hard phase for authors to go through, and a phase that they don't need to go through if they're prepared for it. So we work with authors to prepare for that, so they don't fall off the Amazon cliff, but also so that they are promoting year round all the time. You know, you and I, Jeanne, we both know that promotion and marketing is something you always do, right?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yes. So now I have a program called the Bold Authors Network. And that is a program where we invite authors to come to a promo hour every week. And in that promo hour, we talk about all kinds of strategies for continuing to promote your book, continuing to sell your book. One of the strategies that we use, Jeanne, is podcasting.
I like hearing that.
And you know, as well as I do, how powerful that can be, right?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah, we've had some authors on here, but we would love to have some more.
Right. And so we do promo hour, and promo hour is a free hour that we do every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we invite anyone who is writing a book, who is thinking about writing a book, has a book that's published, is about to publish, especially those who are about to fall off the Amazon cliff, to join us so that we can really just share as a community all of the strategies and the ways that you can continue to sell books. So it's been my honor and my pleasure really to work with other authors, and particularly because with nonfiction authors, I can give them the steps and the methodology so that they can create that back-end program, which is really where the money is, unless you're a big name author. So I want to just tell you one thing, Jeanne, okay? Here is how perception works. This is a really interesting exercise to go through, especially for authors who are looking at a back-end program. So if you write a book, a digital book will be about $4.99, $5, paperback about $15, hardback maybe $24.99, $30, something like that. If you take that same content and put it into an online course, you can charge maybe, I don't know, $99 for it, right? If you take that same content and put it into a speech that's like a keynote speech, when you go as a keynote speaker, you can make how much? 10,000, 20,000 if it's really good. And it's so interesting to me that as an author, you can create this amazing content, and many people don't take it further than that. They don't go beyond the book. And beyond the book is where there's the ability and opportunity to share so much more in so many different modalities and get your message out there. And the author benefits at the same time.
Love that. Oh my gosh, I'm such a huge fan of repurposing.
Yes.
Like you said, you put your heart and soul, especially into a book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, why not give people even more of an experience? Because some of them will read the book and they'll go, I want more.
That's right.
I want more of that. I love it so much. So do you work with just fiction writers now, or do you work with both?
I work with both. And the thing for your audience, Jeanne, for coaches, is to think about it this way. As coaches, they already have a body of work. They already have content. They already have a process, a program. They can take that process and program and put it into a book, and then do other add-on things beyond the book, like the course or the keynote speech or the podcast, whatever, those additional things. So you don't have to be just an author starting with the book. You can be a coach with a program and then do a book. So people are like, I know the thought that's going through your head. I know it, guys. You're thinking, I can't do a book. I don't know how to do a book. Well, we help with that as well. So we are not talking about writing a huge book like this, like 800,000 words. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the kind of books that Amazon loves to promote, which are short books that are how-tos. And every coach should consider doing a book like that. Then the long game is think about turning it into an online course. And then that should drive any speaking engagements, any summits. When I first published in 2005, and then shortly after that, we published without KDP. We published the hard way. We published with a printer who printed the books, and I paid for all of them upfront. And then we had a list of CEOs, and we mailed those books to those CEOs. And then we got on the speaking circuit, and CEOs would say to me, I have your book. Some of them would even bring it. Yeah, I have your book. Will you sign it for me? So the power of a book to extend beyond the book is really the most powerful marketing promotional tool that you can ever have. And people just stop with a book. And so I just have a heart for people who don't know about that opportunity and who could really extend their work through that opportunity.
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone articulate it that well, and explain that, you're doing not only helping with the book, but helping beyond.
Right.
Love it. And we always try and encourage authors to market before.
Yes.
As you're writing, take people on the journey with you.
Yes.
It does a couple things. It gets them excited about it. They're like they're coming along with you. And you ups and downs, but then also it kind of gives you a deadline, if you will, because on it taking this long. But if it's done, it's okay. People waiting for it to come out. You're going to get it done.
Right. There's accountability when you go public with it when you're writing. And, readers love to interact with authors. So, I think some authors are like, well, I don't want to talk about it when I'm writing it. But readers really love that interaction that you're talking about. Yeah.
They kind of feel like they're part of the development of it, or they're getting some behind the scenes. Who doesn't like that kind of thing?
I know.
Yeah. Insider information.
Yes. Yes. I'm an insider. I want to know.
You have got amazing experiences. Funny you talk about TV. That I used to work at MTV Networks, and we sold.
Oh, fabulous!
And I worked at a national ad agency and all that kind of good stuff. And then I had my own agency.
Oh, yes. So the sleepless nights.
I totally do. But one thing that we did that I love, that my business partner and I have expanded on, was that we outsourced. And it was so fabulous, because you just think, I'm a small business owner, I have to do everything myself, I'm just disorganized. That's why I can't get it all done. And it was like,
right.
You have to outsource that. You have to hire people around you. And as coaches, we know that we need other coaches to be inspired, to learn from, to help us get there faster.
Yes. There's a saying that says, if you want to get there, you can go fast or slow. And the best way to go is to go with other people. And even though that feels a little slower, it will actually take you further faster. So having people like you, having groups, having the ability to tap into other people's mentorship and their journeys is a really important part of not doing the journey by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think the Bold Authors Network is such a great place for people to go who are writing their book, who are maybe stuck, or because I imagine that's a really supportive environment.
Yes, it is. And we welcome them all, everyone. And coaches, if you're thinking about writing a book, come in, hang out, because you'll get a lot of insight that might save you some time when you're writing and publishing. Publishing seems like a really scary thing for a lot of people. It's not, but you don't know what you don't know.
Oh, yeah. There's loads of different parts and pieces to publishing. We attempted to publish a book a long time ago, and it was a lot of work. There was editors, it was designers, and it was putting it in the right format for Amazon, and it was just a whole lot of stuff that we didn't anticipate. So having someone like you throw people through that is phenomenal.
Yes, it's all good.
Yeah. So do you help them with their signature speech as well?
I have done some speaking coaching, but I don't really focus on that now. I think when people come into Bold Authors Network and they understand that part of promotion for a book is the author. And so that means we have the 3 V's. That means you have to have a voice, a vision, and visibility. Because if you're not visible, you're really not viable. And so we actually give people podcasts that we think might be good for them. People are like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I say, being in the harsh glare of the sunlight, of the spotlight, is the best way to make sure that your messaging is on point. And so practice is what we preach. Just get out there and do it. It takes courage to do this kind of stuff. But that's what becoming a bold promoter is about not being that shy kid in the corner anymore, not flying under the radar. I'm an introvert, and I choose extroversion behavior. So that's a choice. I'm going to be an extrovert today, and I'm going to be on a podcast with Jeanne.
I love that. Yeah, I would imagine a lot of authors are introverts.
Mm-hmm.
But you're so right. We encourage all of our clients to go on podcasts because it not only helps you get more confident, which it does, but it also helps refine your story and practice, like you said, your wording and see how it comes out. Because it's one thing to be in your head and it's another to actually say it out loud. And it's just one last step to do it in front of someone. And I think that, and especially if they want to become speakers, that's a great.
Yes. And, there's an added benefit to getting on podcasts as a guest and probably as a host too. And that is being a guest on a podcast is good for your mental health. Did you know that?
I didn't, but I love that. Tell me more.
Yeah. So what happens for a lot of authors and a lot of coaches as well is that we work in isolation. And other than being on Zoom, we work kind of in silence or alone in isolation. And so having podcast conversations, being, getting your game on and getting up for it, really, it's like a dopamine boost. It's a good thing. It's like going to a great meeting where you're going to have a great conversation and make new friends. And it's really a good mental health thing.
I love that. I love all that. And all that is important for any business owner, any type of coach. Is sometimes they're better at coaching people to do things than they are at doing them themselves.
Right.
Children kind of thing. I had somebody on and she was like, I've been out here in PR and promoting everyone. She goes, now I gotta do it for myself. And I'm totally uncomfortable. Talking to people is so great. So
it is. I do love it. Yeah.
I love everything you're doing. And I think being an author, it gives you so much credibility.
Yes.
Because people will say, wow, you wrote a book and now you've got something tangible that you can sell and you can give to someone.
Yeah. And it's also a business asset. So many people don't think about it that way. It is an actual asset. It's intellectual property. It has value. And as we know, the incident that just happened with the football player who was reading a book, and it was a book, and I can't remember the title, but it was like an inspirational mindset kind of book. And that book was written 10 years ago. And then when the cameras were on him and people saw that book, his sales just skyrocketed. So you don't know. It's an asset.
It absolutely is. Yeah. We have a client who also became a friend who's a lawyer. And she the book that she wrote. And when people inquire about her services, she sends it to them for free. Educate you on things that you need to know. And then she has a lot of clients that way, but she's also doing everybody a favor in educating people on.
Yes, that's true. There are many benefits. I give away books all the time because I believe in the law of nature that says when you give, it returns to you in whatever form. So giving out books is like book selling 101.
I love that. I actually have another client who wrote a book and did a book signing. That was really fun.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of like a celebrity. I was her PR person. I took all the photos. It was fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's very cool.
So, Kae, tell us where is the best place for people to reach out to you if they are interested in either joining your club, your Bold Authors Network, or talking to you about your services. Maybe they want to write a book.
Yes, I hope they do. I hope every coach who is listening here today takes the idea of writing a book and does something with it. And I can be reached, or that the best way for your community to reach me is to go to theboldauthors.network.com. And when they get there, they can sign up for that. That gives them access and information to the promo hour that we run every week. So they'll start to interact with me. They'll start to interact with other people in the community. And they will, from the very first time that they come, they will get ideas and things, actionable steps that they can take to actually get more visibility and increase their sales over the long haul. So boldauthorsnetwork.com is the best place to find me. And I hope to see your community in the promo hour.
Absolutely. I'm going to be there.
Yay. Oh, that's great. Wonderful.
We'll see.
Yeah, because I think you could contribute so much from the podcasting perspective. That would be phenomenal, Jeanne.
That's fun. Okay, well, we will put that link in the resources below. And one last question for you. If you could provide one tip to make the world a better place, what would that be?
Well, that tip, Jeanne, is one that I used to always give to my kids. And it's from a song that Jules sang, I don't know how many years ago. I'm dating myself probably now, but the piece of the lyric is, in the end, only kindness matters. And so the one tip that I would give to everyone would be just remember to be kind, because we never know what struggles the other person is going through. We don't know what situation they find themselves in. So in the end, kindness matters, always matters.
I love that. What a beautiful way to end. Well, thank you so much, Kae. It has been such a pleasure to have you on, and we look forward to maybe having you on again.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today on Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. We hope you're leaving this episode with inspiration to take your coaching business and your life to the next level. If you found value in this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from hearing it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.